Hey, good morning, folks. Right across here, BJC Outdoors. Hey, down on Tennessee River today. Gonna do a little catfishing, man, in one of my favorite places to fish. Hadn't been down here in a couple months, man. And this is actually one of my big fish areas. Tickled to death to be able to get back down here, man. The conditions has been jacked up for every time that I got a chance to go. And then having that old flu, man, it kept me from getting down here at a time that I really wanted to fish it. I catch a lot of big fish down here on this part of the river. And today, man, I don't know, really what's going on with the fish. I haven't been down here in so long. The water temp's 57 degrees. You know, that's still good. It's still kind of cold, but still warm enough to get things moving around. What I got behind me right here, man, got a bunch of structure. This whole bank's just littered with it. But you got to find the little isolated structures, you know, where it's not a bunch of trees and log jams together. We got one behind the boat right here, fishing in about 13 foot. It drops off a little bit out here, about 15, 16 foot. Gonna be using skipjack today, and I got some thread fins. I got some big thread fins that I caught yesterday evening. So we good on bait, man. I'm gonna put two out with thread fins and two out with skipjack, and we're gonna see if we can't get a big one. Y'all stay tuned. Seen a lot of fish busting, man, and that's always a good thing to see, especially in the spring, because that means a lot of things are starting to move around. It allows the fish to move around a little bit more and get up in some areas where they're more predictable. You know, we're kind of in that what I call a spring transition. You know, the fish want to move up, but the weather just back and forth. Like this morning, it's 40 degrees. The high today, 75. So, you know, this evening the water, that bottom of the river probably feel good to the fish. But at the same time, you know, this little cold front kind of a shock to them. So we'll just have to see what they want. Got to find what depth they're in. That's the main thing. First thing I look for is finding that depth, because that's the main ingredient. Is finding that perfect depth. You know, where they're going to kind of be concentrated at, mainly because that's where the bait and everything thereafter is at. So. Oop, there we go, folks. They finally hooked up, whatever it is. Maybe he'll stay hooked up, because I've had some bait feeds in here. I don't think he's real big, but he got a little weight to him. I know what he feels like, and it'd be awesome if it is. Well, it's hard to say now. No, it ain't what I thought, but by no means. But a nice channel cat though. I tell you what, he sure messed himself up, man. You see it right there, folks? Let me get him. Well, I can get a hold of him and I'll show y'all. You don't go to acting crazy, son, when I get you loose. You hear me? I'm gonna probably have to get the grippers on you just to get that hook out of you. See that fish here, folks? He just down there play on that bait and got that hook stuck in his gut. Them old bounty hunters, man, all they gotta do is get close to that hook and it'll get them. Now that was actually luck, man, that fish even got caught. Sure did. I mean, technically, if we was bass fishing, you couldn't count that as a catch. But since we're catfishing, it's definitely a catch. Got one hitting on that nowhere. I think it's gonna be the same species. I got one hooked. Oh man. Alright folks, we finna abandon this area right here. I done used the whole skipjack messing with this channel cat. Y'all know me, I enjoy catching them, but only when I'm out here targeting them. And today we're not targeting any channel cat. But like I said, I appreciate the bites and don't mind catching them, but we're here in this area of the river. I'm not here to feed them, that's for sure. What we're fishing now, folks, it's just a deep pole out here. It's pretty long. It's probably 75 yards long, but it's more like just a ditch. It's about 25 foot. We're up on top, 17 foot, so pretty good drop back here. A lot of times these fish, when they're transitioning, you know, they'll move up on the shallow flats and feed, or you know, go pretty much anywhere they want, but they'll drop back off in these deep holes close to, you know, where they're feeding at. You know, this section of the river don't have any kind of flats or anything, so I really don't know where they spawn here unless they just spawn up on the bank. But these deep holes are always a good place to check in the spring. But you want deep water, you know, the deep holes to be close to shallow water, if that makes sense. You know, in other cases, you want your shallow flats to be close to deep water. But it depends on the section of the river you're on and how the layout is, because it's all different from lake to lake. See, water don't take long to warm up. Oh, there we go. I thought I heard something back here flopping. He definitely ain't got no size to him. He's a fish though. Another channel cat. No, that's a blue. That's a blue. I'm gonna say there shouldn't be no channels out here in these deep holes, because usually that's where they'll get eaten at. Oh, you sure are a beautiful colored fish. Good eating size blue for somebody if they want to eat one. That fish is clean, man. Ain't got a scratch on it. Well, thank you, buddy. Go tell your mom and daddy I need to see them. Matter of fact, tell your great-great-granddaddy I need to see them. Now that one hit shad, which, you know. Oh, now that's a big skipjack head over there. We're kind of eliminating water, folks, just, you know, even though it's spring and you want the fish to be up dirt shallow, they're not always going to be where you want them to be. So, which we're in early spring, you know, it's not full-blown spring just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and call it. We will be catching a big one if y'all want to hang around for it. Oh, there we go, folks. Yep, that's a good fish right there. Yep, that's a good one right there. Sure, yeah. Getting a bite on that one too. He come off, but that's all right. We're gonna deal with this one first. This is a lot better fish right here. Yep. He was pulling some drag. That fish was hitting like a tiny, I mean, even a tiny channel cat. And then all of a sudden he took off pulling drag. I don't think he's a giant fish, but I really don't know. It's hard to tell. No, but he's a good one. He is a good one. Like I said, he ain't no monster by no means, but he sure was appealing some drag. Get a bite on that inside one. They're off the bank now too. Come on, buddy. He's a good fish though. Definitely the size we're looking for, and bigger. Sometimes you start a feeding frenzy when if there's, you know, several fish down in these holes. Gave me my bait back too. That's awesome, buddy. That is awesome. Alright, folks. Nice blue to start with. He ain't no monster by no means, but he's a dang good one to start with. Got wood all over him. Not a lot, but he got some on him. Well, alright, buddy. Appreciate you. I guess that other one told you I was looking for you. Well, you go tell your granddaddy I'm looking for him. Thank you, Lord. They get bigger, folks. They're getting bigger. That's kind of what you got to do. You got to start somewhere. You know, a lot of times you'll land right on top of that big one. And then these days you got to find them. You know, I hadn't been down here in over 2 months, so. All right, folks. We move down to another hole. We're just hole jumping now. I'm gonna see if there's a pattern to that. This hole here is a little bit deeper, about 3 foot deeper than the other one. This is about 28 foot. There's probably gonna be fish all over the place, you know, with the water temp warming up. And just the time of year it is. But you can probably find a pattern in several different areas of any lake right now. There'll be some fish still out deep, some fish in that mid-range, and then some fish will be, you know, up shallow. I mean, the last trip out I caught my better fish within 5 foot. So there we go, folks. He finally hooked his 7 foot. Jeffrey was sitting down there pecking on that shad. I was figured he's gonna get the bait before he ever got the hook. That's the only thing about them shad. They'll get them off a lot easier than they will at skipjack. He just gave up. So. The good thing about these fish in these holes, you just don't know. You don't never know what you're gonna catch. I think that's gonna be a decent sized channel right there. He ain't happy either. And son, you didn't have to bite that hook. Don't blame it on me and get all mad. Come on, man. Yeah, that's old big headed channel right there. I guess if you're gonna catch one, that's the size you want to catch. I guess there are some channels in them deep holes. That's a nice one right there, yeah. He got a big old head on him. Like I said, he ain't no monster by no means, but we'll take you, bud. You're not what we're looking for, but if you're gonna hit the channel, I'd rather you be a decent sized one on a day like today. I think he's got it. I don't think he's no size to him, but I'm getting a lot more bites on the shad. I got skipjack on the other three, and I got shad on this one. But it's some action, you know. Like I said, we kind of come out here with a blindfold on this morning because we're trying to figure out where the bigger fish are, or where the majority of the blues are, really. And man, the channel kept by this on fire. I could downsize my hook and I could have done caught a boatload of these things, but I would have brought my other rigs if I was fishing for these. For sure, man, he's all beat up, bleeding all over. The fish we're after can eat one like that, so it's kind of like if you're catching fish that size and you're getting a lot of bites from them fish that size. If you want something bigger, you might as well move. So I think I'm fixing to back down just a little piece. We're kind of set up on we're in a hole, but we're also on a point that falls off in this hole. I think I'm gonna back down on the other side of the point and throw them out because I know it's an eddy there. There we go. Yep, there we go. There's a good fish, I believe. He hit like a good one anyway. He's running like a flathead. Caught me with a mouthful of beef jerky. I don't think he's no monster fish, but he ain't no bad one either. He ain't no big fish at all. He just knows how to use that current. Just old skinny blue. Yeah. Pull in with a line. I don't need to lose you. He ain't no big fish, but man, that joker. They're just green, man. They're so strong right now because they're all, you know, they ain't done nothing. They've been laid up on the bottom all winter. And some of these fish are just now getting active and they're green, man. They ain't used none of their energy in a long time. When you get one on, they'll fight, especially if they get that current against them. Well, buddy, I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Lord. I thought that was gonna be a Mongo the way he took off, but they're just green and mean. We're in a good area right here to pick up something if they're still on the wood. I'm starting to think that the fish have moved off the wood with the water warming up and everything. You know, big bluecats, especially, they love wood in the wintertime. But the places that I've checked this morning, some of them I've fished before, and there's always fish on it, but that don't mean they always bite. But this morning, I hadn't seen any fish sit up on structure as far as wood. But you know, a lot of times when the blues move off the wood, especially this time of year, you'll still be able to pick up a flathead. So, but I hadn't seen anything on the wood. And that's basically what I come down here to fish. But you know, being the first time I've been down here in over 2 months, a lot can change in 2 months, especially in the spring, you know, because they're transitioning, they're getting ready for the big move. And a lot of times you can miss a step in between where they're at and where they're going, and that's what you got to find. You know, you know where it was, you know where they're going. You got to get in between that. Well, on this lake, I have no idea where they're going, but we're gonna keep at it. We're gonna still put everything we got into it to try to catch the big one. All right, folks. I don't know what's going on today, man. It's been a tough morning. You know, we caught them few we caught pretty fast. I got one more hole I'm gonna go check. It's right down the river here. It's about a 32 foot deep. I saved this channel cat. I've got a lot of bites. I mean, I've been getting bites constant all morning. But the channel cat about ate me out of bait. I've got plenty of thread fins, but of course seemed like that was attracting them, so I quit putting thread fins on them. But I got one skipjack left, and it's a big one. I'm gonna get them up and run down here at this hole, and I'm gonna put fresh skipjack on all 4 of them and see if we can't pick us up a big fish before we leave. But anyway, I'm gonna get them up and run down here to this hole and get set up and be right back with y'all. Anywhere we've been this morning that I would think would have a big fish would be right here in this hole. It's the deepest hole on the stretch of river. Why I didn't come here first? Well, because I figured they'd be fish, you know, a good fish in other places we stopped. But they throw me for a loop down here today. I mean, this is my favorite lake to catch big fish on. It's usually pretty easy for me. But when you miss 2 months of fishing on a lake, you can expect to start from scratch when you come back. You know, especially when you're changing seasons. Now, if it was still cold in the wintertime, I know the fish will be set up on the wood like they normally are. Just puts them in that funky mood, and they just don't want to eat. You got to hit them on the head, and luckily we was able to hit a few on the head first thing. But I believe it's a big fish in this hole right here. I just really do. We got fresh bait on all 4 of them. That's my last skipjack. Luckily I got 4 pieces out of him, and I brought six with me, and what we've caught in the channel cat bites have eaten me out of all of them. Now I got a lot of thread fin, but I even got a lot left. But I know what's eating them. I never got a bite from anything but a channel cat on a thread fin. I mean, some of them have been small blues, because I'm using a fairly big hook. One thing about these deep holes, you don't never know what's down there. It could be a big blue, or it could be a big monster flat. You just don't never know. Go, folks. There's a big fish. Yep. Well, I don't know how big, but he's bigger than what we had in the last hour for sure. I knew there'd be one down there in that hole. Anyway, we just got him out there, so maybe he ain't the only one. I don't know how big he is. He's coming up back there. Got skipjack jumping all around me. He ain't a bad fish. He ain't a bad one at all. They seem to be in just a foul mood, man. They're not even fighting. I mean, none of the blues we've caught today, even this morning, they even put up a fight. He ain't a bad fish. I don't know why he just give up. He just don't make much sense to me. Yeah, it's a good fish, man. Now I've seen that. Oh, I see what's going on. He's wrapped completely around his mouth, and you don't know what to do. Come on in here, boy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you want that? Now you want to fight? Just like an old spring fish, man. They just green as they can be, mean as they can be. Dude, I believe he fell. He went through a net. He did. I'm gonna have to see what's going on with that. Yeah, that's a good fish right there, y'all. That's a good fish right there. Let me put some water in there. And the floor's probably a little warm. That's a good fish right there, y'all. If we have to end on one, that's a good one to end on. Yeah, that line was wrapped around that fish's mouth, and he just gave up. And then when that line come out from around his mouth, he wanted to act a fool. Well, that's awesome, man. I knew there'd be a fish there. Something just told me. I've never fished this hole before. I mean, you know, he ain't no monster, but he could be the day maker today for sure. All right, buddy. Just me and you be friends. How about that? How about that? You was hooked up good, man. That line wrapped around his mouth and wrapped back in that hook, and he just acted like he was lifeless. Just came in like I'd hooked up with a dead fish. All right, folks. That old fat rascal right there. Green as he can be, man. Pretty clean fish, man. Probably come out of that deep water. Ain't even done nothing but lay there all winter. Well, buddy, I sure appreciate you, man. Oh, there we go. Another one biting there. I hope you ain't the day maker, but if you are, I'll take it. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Well, folks, we got 3 baits left. That's getting hit now. Got our 3 pieces of skipjack. I'm not going to throw any thread fin down there because I don't want to start a channel cat feeding frenzy again. I told y'all if y'all hang in there with me, folks, we'd catch a good one. Now, he ain't no monster, but I'll take that fish right there all day long, especially on as tough as it's been today. I mean, it's noon. Well, actually, it's around 12:30, and you know we ain't caught many fish, but definitely caught enough to make it worthwhile. And I learned a lot. Sometimes these trips like this, you learn a lot because you know, I'm not coming back here tomorrow. Got another trip planned with a friend of mine, but if I was coming back here, well, anytime soon, I know what not to do, and I know where not to go. I'm definitely not on wood anymore. And the only decent bites I've got's been in, you know, deep holes, which is kind of odd because the other lakes, you know, they're shallow. But like I said, every lake's different, man. We'll give it about 30 more minutes since we caught that in here. You know, like I said, I know that in there just got hit. It being a deep hole, there could be several fish down there, you know, and there could be a monster down there. If I didn't think it was, I wouldn't have stopped here. That's getting bit. I'm getting bit on all 3 rods now. I don't know what they are. Could be channel. They're definitely not hitting like big fish, but it's crazy that these channel cat bites have been everywhere I've been today. From 32 foot all the way up to the bank. You wouldn't think it'd be any little fish down there, even with that size fish, man. He could eat any one of them. Now the wind's gonna try to blow my boat sideways. Come on, wind. Just give me 30 minutes here, just 30 minutes. Come on, wind. You're gonna get me hung. That one is hung. Yeah, it came loose. We don't have a lot of current here, so my drift socks ain't holding straight. Gonna get my lines tangled up. Man alive, folks, I can't never win. Finally get on a decent spot, and then the wind wants to jack it up. I'm gonna try to suspend too. I'll leave that one out the back. I can control which one, even with the wind swirling like it is, but I hate to leave a spot, man. But I may have to. I don't know if this suspending is gonna work or not, because it's not really what I want to be doing. I don't even know if that one's got a bait on it anymore. Nope. No, he robbed me on that one. I figured he would eventually. He pecked on it for 5 minutes, and pretty vicious bites for a small fish. I'm gonna let them suspend right here and just see what happens. That's about all I can do. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get a fish to eat moving around like this, man. Now the wind's blowing me that way. I had to pull my drift socks in because they was getting in the motor. Sit here a few more minutes. And I doubt anything's gonna bite with me moving around like this, but we'll give it a few minutes and see. All right, folks, you can see I've lost all boat control, man. This wind's getting up, blowing up the river, and it's blowing me sideways. I tried to suspend for a few minutes, but it ain't working because my baits are gonna be that way, and that's the way to get a rod broke. One hits and goes under the boat. So I'm finna get these up, man, get on out of here. Hey, we had a pretty good morning, man. It was tough. You know, tough bite. I didn't catch a lot of fish, but we caught enough, you know, for a trip. And I learned a lot from it. You know, that's the main thing. You're learning from your trips out, you know. Like I said, if I come back tomorrow or anytime here in the next, even the next few weeks, I know kind of what to, at least what not to fish and what to start on. So I did learn something from it, and that's always a plus. But anyway, I'm gonna get these up, get on out of here, man. Get ready for my trip tomorrow. Hope y'all learned something from today, man. I appreciate y'all riding along and checking out the video. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. See you then, and God bless you.